line in the sand. Joining me right now are two members of Congress who stand on opposite sides of that line. Representative Loretta Sanchez, she's a Democrat from California. Representative Michael Grimm, a Republican from my home state of New York. All right, they join me from the Cannon Rotunda in Washington. Let me start with you, Congressman Grimm. You know, you're from New York. You know how important Planned Parenthood is to so many people who get services. You heard David Gergen say a couple moments ago on the show, probably 1 in 5 women in America has gotten some help on health issues from Planned Parenthood. Why now to raise this issue and close down the whole government over this?
Well, I got to tell you something. I think there's some misinformation going on because I spoke personally with Speaker Boehner this afternoon, a little after noon. And he had assured me that it was not the social issues that were holding this up. It was not Planned Parenthood. It was the number. It was the spending cuts that was holding this up. So I think there's a lot of disinformation out there. The reality is it's about spending, and that's what this whole thing has been about.
All right. Well, Congressman, look, I don't know. I'm not in the room with these folks, of course, so I don't know if it's the so-called riders about Planned Parenthood or not, or if it's the number. But it does seem to me that the Democrats have given basically 2/3 of what the Republicans asked in terms of the size of the cuts over the course of the remainder of this fiscal year. And so, Congresswoman Sanchez, what's your view on this? Have the Democrats given too much, and every time the Democratic Party gives a little bit, it seems as though, as somebody said, we have a goal line on wheels that keeps moving in the other direction?
Absolutely. We do have a goal line on wheels. They keep, every time we get to the number, they keep pulling it the other direction. They keep pulling it the other direction. It's kind of like, Lucy and Charlie Brown, when Charlie Brown goes to kick the ball and then Lucy pulls it away. That's what it feels like here. And it has been ideological. It has been about Planned Parenthood. This has been a stand by the conservatives who had been in here for a while in this Congress, who weren't able to get what they wanted, which was to eliminate Planned Parenthood. Now, together with the new freshmen, most of them Tea Partiers, who are so bent to get to that $100 billion number. So between the two of them, it really has been about this Planned Parenthood issue. And I believe and I hope it's now off the table and that we'll get this signed tonight. We shouldn't even have to come for another week. We should just get this done and then start on next year's budget. That's where our focus has to be, because that's where the real savings will be.
If I can have a word, if I may. It's so funny to hear that we just need to get this done. Last year, they had the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and they failed to pass a budget. We wouldn't be here right now mopping up their mess had they passed the budget. It's inexcusable. The bottom line is that we can no longer spend money that we don't have. We're bankrupting our country. The president abdicated his leadership with his budget proposal that he put out that will only accelerate the bankruptcy of the United States. If we want to really get serious about cutting spending, we passed H.R. 1 40-some-odd days ago. What have the Democrats done in the last 40-some-odd days?
Except that in that bill, they increased defense spending at a time when we should be getting out of Iraq and we should be getting out of Afghanistan. That cost us $3 billion a week. That's where the big bucks are. That's where we've got to get our money back. That's where we've got to start to invest in the United States. That's what we've got to do.
That's simply
invest in our own people.
Congresswoman, I got to say, though, I'm not, me, I'm not with Congressman Grimm on a lot of these issues, most of them, but he's right. Why didn't the Democratic Party pass a budget last year? There's a Democratic president, a supermajority in the Senate, a majority in the House of Representatives. That was the moment, it seems to me, for the Democratic Party to put its imprint on this year's budget. Once after November, that capacity had disappeared. That was the Democratic Party's fault. And then you just said the Democratic Party's like Charlie Brown. You're right. They were acting like Charlie Brown.
Elliot, you forget.
Why not?
When did Senator Kennedy die? When we lost Senator Kennedy, we lost that supermajority. That meant that we had to bring on Republicans, and Republicans were not willing to move because the Tea Party movement had gotten too strong. There were elections coming around, and people were very afraid. So it wasn't because of a supermajority.
I guess that
it was
means
because it was difficult to get Republicans to come over.
I don't remember them passing a budget in the House even. Here's the reality.
We passed our numbers in the House. We passed our appropriation bills in the House.
This is the same thing over and over again. The Democrats are not serious about cutting spending. The president came on, gave a speech about dealing with and it's not the military or the defense spending that's killing the country and putting us in debt. It's Medicare, Medicaid, and the entitlements. The president even spoke about that. And he puts forward a budget that does not even mention Medicaid or Medicare. How can we take him serious about cutting spending if he doesn't want to address the biggest problem in our budget, and that's the entitlements?
Medicare,
Congressman Grimm,
and Medicaid and Social
guys,
Security,
let's do this.
These issues are policy issues. They're to be worked by the Congress. They don't come in the budget.
Here's what we're going to do.
They're still bankrupting the country. At the end of the day, they're still bankrupting the country.
Guys, look, you're proving a lot of things. First, there's a lot of passion behind this debate. Second, I think the public's seeing why we're not getting agreement. But third, this is a good substantive debate. We're going to get you back on the show sometime really soon when we're going to dig into all these issues. And I really mean that because I appreciate your coming on, fighting it out in a reasonably civil way. Just get this thing done one way or another. All right, thanks to both of you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Good night.
Our pleasure. All right, let's go back to Candy Crowley. Candy, any last thoughts? Not to Candy. We're going to Gloria Borger. Gloria Borger, who was the best political reporter in Washington. All right, Gloria, take it away. What do you